So online.
Okay, perfect. Good. Yeah, actually.
Hello, hello. P2GreeN, P2GreeN. It's working. All right. Hello, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the first cross-fertilization workshop of P2GreeN. Maybe we should call it cross-biofertilization workshop from now on. I would like to thank you, all of you, for your attendance today, also for the attendees joining online. First of all, I would like to explain a little bit what is the purpose of these cross-fertilization workshops. So these type of workshops are intended to exchange ideas and lessons learned between the three pilot regions, but also the follower regions, to set the ground for a long-term collaboration between actors and the regions involved. These cross-fertilization workshops will contribute to the uptake of the project solutions, providing insights on the conditions needed to push and upscale the solutions. With this purpose, we will organize 3 cross-fertilization workshops during the P2GreeN project, the one we are having today, plus 2 more workshops on April 2025 and January 2026. The inputs of these workshops are going to define also governance frameworks, for instance, in Work Package 4, and also upscaling strategies in Work Package 5 and the follower regions. These cross-fertilization meetings are also designed to guarantee that regions can benefit from other regions' experiences, to be updated on the implementation status of the project strategies, and finally ensure that the best practice is spread throughout Europe. Also, very importantly, each of these workshops are targeting different stakeholders, ranging from authorities, decision makers, but also farmers, researchers, innovators, associations, and so on. So what is the goal for this first cross-fertilization workshop today here in Malaga? Today, we will have the opportunity to interact with several authorities and stakeholders with certain decision-making power from each of the 3 pilot regions. And we want to hear about their thoughts, about their concerns, about bioeconomy, nutrient recovery, municipal wastewater and sanitation infrastructure, strategies to support and upscale our P2GreeN solutions, participatory governance, and so on and so forth. And very importantly, how their organizations could support us, hopefully, in overcoming the challenges and the barriers that we are facing. So I would like to give you a bit of information about the structure and the housekeeping tasks for the workshop. First of all, we will have each pilot representative. We have them here. We have Carsten Denecker from Germany and Jenna Senekal from Sweden with us. We will briefly present our solutions, also to refresh the minds of the stakeholders joining online. And secondly, we will have a short intervention from EU Commission and DG GROW. And afterwards, we will have 3 blocks, region by region, where the invited stakeholders will be presenting different approaches, projects, platforms, to support nutrient recycling. After the intervention of the stakeholders per region, we will have some time for discussion. So we encourage you to engage in the conversation, to formulate questions, and just raise your hand, and we will give you the microphone for this. Also, very importantly, for our guest stakeholders joining online, they are using a different a YouTube channel to follow the workshop. So remember that you should be muted all the time until we give you the word to intervene, and you can unmute yourself. In case you have any questions, you can use the chat on the YouTube channel, and we will take the word and formulate your questions here so we can all try to participate and answer them. So I would like now to give the word to my partners, my colleagues, and ask them to introduce each of their solutions briefly. And as we usually do, we go from north to south. First, we will have the Swedish pilot region about transforming human urine into dry biofertilizer for barley cultivation. Then we will have the German pilot region, recycling separated human urine and feces from urban settlements and conversion into a safe biofertilizer. And then we will have the Spanish pilot region with a demonstration of a nutrient-optimized fertigation with reclaimed water using a smart irrigation tool for irrigation of avocado and mango crops. So I think I will give you the word, Jenna.
CE-marked fertilizing products. And it covers a big a spectrum of products, actually. It's not just fertilizers, it's also liming materials, soil improvers, even plant biostimulants, microbial plant biostimulants. It's moving a bit further than the previous legal scheme. So it's not just about using raw materials, primary raw materials to produce fertilizers or fertilizing products. This new regulation allows, it's applicable since 2022, fully applicable. It allows recovered materials to be used. And very, very briefly, we allow, as component materials in these products, in the CE-marked products, to have compost, digestate, struvite-like materials, ashes, incineration ashes, and what else? Biochar-like material. In some cases, only for the case of struvite-like, the precipitated phosphate salts, and the ashes, we allow the use of sewage sludge. But as for the rest of the recovery operation, sewage sludge is not allowed. But the regulation is developing very, very fast. So we elaborate different technical studies, and we take on board all the results from the studies. And actually, we're about to start a new big technical study. We have requested from different stakeholders, industry, but also member states, to give us input on new technologies, new materials. And for instance, I'm very happy to hear that your project includes recovery of nutrients from urine and human excreta in general. And this is one of the topics that we will look into. So this is a new technical study that we are about to start. Next year, early next year, it should be initiated. It will look into all the details, the agronomic efficiency, but also the safety of this kind of materials. So I'm very happy to follow, and I think that you will be a very good contact consortium for our contractor, for our external contractor that will elaborate this new study. The idea is that the conclusions are assessed by the Commission services, and if there is the need to go for an amendment, we propose for the Commission to amend the regulation, to adopt delegated regulations, to adopt amendments, let's say, of the regulation to put under the scope of this EU regulation new materials. So this is why I'm here, very, very interested to follow your discussions.
Thank you very much, Theodora, for your interest and also your willingness to participate. And please stay with us and feel free to intervene whenever you wish. I think we are perfectly on time, so I would like now to start the conversation with the stakeholders from the Swedish region. And for this, I think I will ask Jenna to present them. And yeah, to start the discussion with them for the next, I don't know, 30 minutes maybe, but we'll see. Thank you.
Thank you. And it's my pleasure to introduce first Anders Finsen. He's from Svensk Vatten, which is our Swedish Water and Wastewater Association, where he is the Senior Environmental Advisor. His core experience and expertise is with control at source strategies for hazardous chemicals and circular economy for the resources in wastewater. And particularly, he's also working as a coordinator at the European Affairs. So his work is also in Brussels and in Stockholm. And so we invited him today because of this overlap, and I think it brings in a lot of interest for the exchange factor in looking at how Sweden is approaching nutrient recycling, and also his experience with at the European level. In addition to his work at Svensk Vatten, he's also been a part of various boards and members of different committees and associations where he's had the possibility to work with source separation in wastewater and the circular economy since the 1990s. So we're very happy to have you here, and thank you so much for joining.
Thank you very much, Jenna. Thank you for the your presentation. And also, Teresa, for being on board with us today from the European Commission. I think that is really valuable. So let's see. We did this exercise with sharing before with my slides. There we go. Like this. Is it okay, Jenna?
Yes, looking good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. So, so I am really happy to be invited to today's workshop and to give some perspective on wastewater and circular economy in Sweden, and why we think that source separation is one of several parallel very important roads for sustainability. First, some basics about the Swedish water sector. In Sweden, all water and wastewater assets and all operators are owned by the municipalities. So that's by law to have all the assets owned by the municipalities, and we do have 290 of them, some very small ones. That's a challenge by itself, of course. In most cases, we have the same organizations for drinking water plants, water net, sewerage, wastewater plants, except for the two biggest cities, Stockholm and Gothenburg, where they're divided a little bit differently. The water sector is financed by tariffs, not taxes, and the local elected municipality council decides the tariffs. And the companies are also always working on a non-profit principle. And when working with advocacy work, both back in Stockholm and in Brussels, is of course very important to know where you would like to go to. And therefore I would like to start with showing you a few of our principles, which I hope makes it clear why we think source separation is an important road. First, clean drinking water, healthy lakes and seas. That's quite obvious for organizations like us, where we do have all the Swedish water and wastewater operators on board. And Sweden do have a lot of lakes. Together, 40% of all the lakes we do find in Sweden, and another 20% in Finland, if you are looking into the European level. So we do have a lot of lake system and lakes and rivers and long coastal areas, which we have to improve, especially in southern Sweden. Our vision is to have a sustainable water service, to have that in place until 2050. And this journey, we have divided this journey into three parallel roads: a sustainable and circular society, where it's really important to have a circular economy and efficient use of resources, non-toxic chains of production. For instance, we really have to have a universal phased out of PFAS in the EU. That's one example. Fossil-free energy resources, of course. And then if we look to the far right, a resilient society is so important that we can efficiently manage crisis, and a society with a secure food supply, and of course climate adaptation. And then we also work a lot with a smart and functional society there in the middle, and with digitalization and connected homes. But that is maybe for another speech later on. And one thing which is very important for us is the climate, to find a way for a climate neutral water sector, where we have a project together with many of our members now. And so, and this in context is that we would like to, from today's wastewater treatment plants, we would like to find tomorrow's resource recovery plant. And this we think that's a very important ingredient to be able to reach a sustainable society. If we are looking into the more traditional wastewater treatment plant, we could see it like this, but this is also valid for the if we have source separation. So these streams are valid in both cases. And you have the city or the village in the middle, and we have drinking water production and delivery from the corner up to the right. We are using it, and we will have a wastewater. And from the wastewater, we can use the heat for the district heating systems, biogas for the public transport buses, which is very common in both Sweden and in Denmark. And I think there are 10 or 15 cities using the heat for the district heating, and also the reclaimed water for different qualities for cooling water in the industries, for instance. And then you could see the other loop, nutrients, organic matter, and water reuse on agricultural land. And here's, if we can have sorted systems, the nutrients which we could deliver back to agriculture would have automatically better quality than today's sludge. And we could also catch other nutrients. And the problems of what are the challenges then to have the circular economy? Then I would like to say one is the market instruments. I will come back to that. The other one is the persistent toxic chemicals, which we still have in society. And this can be symbolized by the vertical red arrow in the city, in the villages, because if we have the persistent chemicals still flowing in the urban water cycle, we will either pass them to the receiving waters to the right or to the loop in agriculture to the left, and we would like to have it in either of the ways. Therefore, it's really a prerequisite that we have stronger control at source, a phase out of hazardous substances, and it's really the European Commission strategy on chemicals from 2020 is really an encouraging road to go to see how we could phase out substances. And what about the nutrients then? And I think Jenna already mentioned it in her opening words. And if we're looking to the toilet, we could really see that we have everything that is needed. And this is not a standard abbreviation, ETIN, but we could really see that we have everything that is needed there in the toilet, and most of that in the most of the contents from human excreta we find in the urine. And in the ordinary wastewater treatment plants and the systems, we are quite good in collecting some of these substances, but others we are not very efficient at all. But best we are on, for instance, on phosphorus, where we catch 95 to 98%, usually in Sweden, to be recovered. But we are not very good in nitrogen and not very good at all in potassium in K. So to have sorting systems, we could really find much more potentials. And what about the very quickly through all the ambitions of the mandate of the today's European Parliament and the Commission, the European Green Deal, which has given us a record production of new European Union legislative initiatives. And that is so important because that gives us, what we are doing today, gives us the frame and the direction for the water wastewater sector for the next 3 to 4 decades. And that is, then we are at 2050, as I presented before. And the European Green Deal, that is the policy, the direction to transform the EU's economy for a sustainable future and leave no one behind. And you can see all these policy areas with climate ambition, a circular economy, zero pollution, farm to fork, and so on. And I did a red ring around the ones which are for importance for the water and wastewater sector. And that's almost all of them, isn't it? So all of them. So except maybe the smart mobility one, if we don't put the biogas there. So our sector is really into the European Green Deal, and we are very happy for many of the initiatives taken by the European Commission. And I'm using the same slide as I used at the beginning, the city and village in the beginning, all the different EU legislative acts going on now. We already had the Drinking Water Directive in place and the Water Reuse Regulation. But we are now, the trialogue will start for the Urban Wastewater Treatment Directive after the Council's general agreement from last Monday. We have had the evaluation of the Sludge Directive, and we are hoping now for a revision. Maybe that's for the next Commission. I don't know very much about the timetable, but I can imagine that the European Commission has awaited will have the Urban Wastewater Treatment Directive formally decided. Maybe we will have the trilogue ended for the Urban Wastewater Treatment Directive before Christmas, we hope, from Svensk Vatten. And there are really two interesting articles in the Urban Wastewater Treatment Directive. It's Article 20, and we really like the Article 20.1. And we haven't seen very big changes from the Commission, neither from the from the Council, neither from the European Parliament on this one. We think it's so important to use the sludge management routes are conform to the waste hierarchy, because then we can use we can use this for when we thinking and having divisions of different systems, how we can sort, how we could use the resources the best way. Article 20.2 is also about recycling rates for phosphorus and nitrogen from sludge. We think it's really important to keep both phosphorus and nitrogen. I do know that the Council crossed out nitrogen, but I think it's really important to have a future-proof directive to both have phosphorus and nitrogen, and not only mentioning sludge, but also wastewater, because then we are also into the source-separated possibilities and also for internal streams in a wastewater treatment plant. It's really important to add wastewater. And my final slide is then about what legal instruments are we missing today in the EU to create a functional market for nutrients, to get a pull in the European Union market for recovered phosphorus and nitrogen. Because we can see today in Germany and also in the Netherlands, where they already started to produce, for instance, struvite, phosphorus, recovered phosphorus, there's no market. The bags, huge bags of thousands of kilograms of struvite are just waiting, and they had to pay for it if they would like to get rid of it. So the market is really distorted, and our idea, and also together with the European Companies Association, Euro, is that to establish a circular economy, it's essential to create a pool in the market. This could be achieved by introducing an EU fertilizer regulation. So in the EU fertilizer product regulation, then, where it is compulsory to blend a certain ratio of recovered phosphorus and nitrogen in all mineral fertilizers put on the European market. Because then we could start with a few percentage, especially for phosphorus. The technical development we will see a much of that in nitrogen in the future as well. But to start with a few percentages, which could be risen, and then we will really have a pool in the market. That's our main entrance here to this, and then also to make it possible to use separately collected human excreta in organic certified farming in the EU. I think the struvite is going to be allowed now. That is really important for, we do have it for end of waste criteria, as Therese said, but it's really important to also have it open up for the organic farming. And then, of course, higher quality requirements in EU legislation for the use of sludge on agricultural land has to be more strict than today's legislation in the EU. And also, we would like to see also some legislation on this use of sludge for landscaping. So thank you very much for giving me also, again, a few minutes of extra time so I could also present our vision of what legal instruments are needed in the European Union. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Anders. Especially that last slide was so core to what we're trying to achieve. So it'll be really interesting to keep connection with you over the years to come, but also looking forward to the discussion afterwards, especially also with your wanting to reword wastewater treatment plants to resource recovery plants and looking at the waste hierarchy, really bang on to what we're trying to achieve here. And also on the panel today, we have Johan Persson. He's from Region Gotland, where Sanitation 360 is based, and where, together with SLU, we've been performing our urine collection and field trials. And Johan is a former real estate agent from northern Sweden and has recently moved to Gotland last year. And what is particularly exciting is that he's in charge of the public toilets in Visby. So I'm very honored to have him here today in order to see and hear his thoughts on nutrient recovery and maybe how we can work together to achieve this. Johan, would you like to say a quick hello?
Yes, hello, you hear me? Yes, as I said, quite new here on this island. And we have not a problem maybe. We have worked quite hard a lot of years with water shortage because we have very low groundwater here in Gotland. And we have, on the island, we are about 60,000 people that lives here year round. But we have around 1 million visitors every year. So it's a hard thing to find the infrastructure to be not too much, but not too little when we have a lot of tourists. So we have worked a lot earlier to have to save water. That has been the #1 priority. With saving water, a lot of information to tourists and people that live here all year around. Normally we have every summer it's forbidden to use water to wash your cars, to water your plants and everything. So it's been a lot of things to just save water that has been #1 priority. But now we are starting to look into other things. We have just started to run our saltwater treatment plant to have tried to make good drinking water out of the seawater, which have been a struggle, but I think now it's going very well, and a lot of people on the island are getting their drinking water and everything from the sea. So that I think is great for saving the groundwater. So the next step, of course, is as Jenna said, we are having discussions with Sanitation 360 to see what can we do to recycle the waste or the water and the urine that we have. And just as you said, I'm responsible for a lot of the public toilets, especially in Visby. That is the main city here. So we are starting to look into see what we need to do to be able to separate the urine, to be able to use it to fertilizing and everything. Both the existing, of course, we have quite a lot since we have a lot of tourists, but also to see if it's possible to put up temporary during the summer. Maybe we have a few weeks where we have almost all of the tourists are coming between week 27 and 31 to see what we can do there to save both good for them, more toilets, more possibility to save the water, and separate everything. So it's really exciting. So we are just starting to look into this, and it's of course a lot of things that need to be controlled and see, so we do everything right and have everybody on board. But I think it's really exciting and see what we can do. So that's well, that's what I have right now. So quite a bit shorter than Anders, but hopefully a bit what we are thinking, and that we are at least we are starting to do this.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
So next on our panel, we have Embla Winger, and she is from Peab, which is a large construction company in Sweden. At Peab, she is the sustainable construction developer, where her role is to help change and develop the way that we are constructing buildings and infrastructure in order to meet and prevent our impact on climate change. So she is joining us today in order to see how we can work more as a team together to address this. Embla, do you want to say a quick hello?
Yes, and thank you for the invite to join this workshop today. And as you said, I'm a civil engineer, and if we have to change and develop the way we construct buildings, as you said, and that's my role today in this Sweden's largest construction firm. So I work together with Sanitation 360 in a development project where we intend to install 20 of those urine separating toilets in a new office property, and then install or develop a drying plant within the property to create urine pellets, all integrated with the ventilation of the office building. So by drying the urine inside the building, most of the water from the flush water will be evaporated, and this will reduce the pressure on the municipality's treatment plants, as Anders was talking about before. But most importantly, create fertilizing sparkles from our waste to the agriculture sector. So the office building will also recycle rainwater and reuse grey water, all with focus to households with water. And I think that's why I'm here today, and I hope that I can contribute in the workshop later from the more property development sides. Thank you.
Thank you. So now we have about 15 to 20 minutes for an open discussion where the objective is to have a crossover. So the others who are online, the other stakeholders, you have priority in terms of asking questions to the panelists. So online we have a few other people who will be introduced in a few moments. So to ask questions, they are to write them on YouTube. Yeah. So for people online, you can write your questions on YouTube, and then we will bring your questions forward. To kick it off, I have a question to my panelists, and whoever else wants to answer as well, is we find that climate change has been dominating the political scene, and so in order to get nutrient recovery onto the agenda, it's rather difficult because they don't necessarily see the connection there. And I was wondering if you have an opinion of, can we work with that in terms of using it to our advantage in order to drive this political change that we need, or do you see it as a hindrance, and that do we really need to change how people are wording things and viewing things?
Thank you. Jenna, may I start?
For sure, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. Yes, I think it is a very good way to put these urine diversion and the recycling of nitrogen and phosphorus together in the climate perspective, because looking into if we could find ways to not having to treat that much nitrogen in the urban wastewater treatment plants, we would minimize the emissions of N2O from the biological process, because we will also have something like 0.5, maybe up to several percentage of the nitrogen goes up in the atmosphere as N2O from urban wastewater treatment plants. So if we could avoid nitrogen entering the treatment plant or in the reject water handling, find ways to extract the nitrogen from, instead of having a biological treatment in that step, we could both save N2O for which we will have less emissions from the treatment plants, that's one. And secondly, of course, we will replace these collected nitrogen as a fertilizer, and then in that way we minimize the use of fossil gas, which is used for making nitrogen fertilizer. So we have a win-win situation here. So I think it's wise to use it because N2O emissions from a wastewater treatment plants can, in some member states, be one of the major sources for our carbon footprint.
Thank you. Are there any other comments on that? No? Okay. I have another question related to scaling up and a little bit of responsibility. So right now, in the urban areas, it's a very centralized approach. And if we're looking at nutrient recovery, especially with urine diversion, we're seeing that we will probably need some kind of decentralized system. Do you see this transition as, do you have any opinion on centralized versus decentralized and a way forward with that?
We are really with huge interest. We are following the decentralized system in the city of Helsingborg in Sweden, where there now, I think it's 1,000 apartments connected where the toilets are separated with a vacuum system, and it goes very well. I've been visiting there several times, and depending on how we exploit these areas, I see the separating systems to be quite difficult to introduce in already built areas, but I see it really as an important factor in new built areas, and where the grey water could go to the centralized plant. But if we could cope with, if we don't have any problems with smell and nuisances like that, it could be a more decentralized plants for the toilet waste. And we are really happy to, and we would like to encourage everyone to visit the Ocean Harbour and separate this project in the southern city of Helsingborg in Sweden.
Definitely, thank you. Embla, you have a comment?
Yes, I absolutely see that decentralization is the future, because we can see that in many sectors, and from energy, how we have to see our buildings be more self-sufficient and be a part of the system, not only be a burden that somebody else will, that the society should come with a conclusion. So if you see decentralization as the future, both for energy, both for water to use and get water to our buildings, so I think you're on something there, Jenna. That's my goal in the construction development.
Definitely glad to hear that. Thank you. Anders, you have another comment?
Oh yes, thank you, Jenna. What we could see, what the constraints we do have with decentralized wastewater treatment plants to centralized is that the centralized ones maybe uses, if we compare a wastewater treatment plants for 100,000 persons with one with 10,000 persons, the one with 100,000 persons will use maybe 3 or 5 times less energy per person for the treatment due to this is like process industries, so it uses much less energy per person. So that is one thing, and we can also we have always the constraints of where do we have a receiving water where we can discharge the good treated wastewater. Sometimes there's only one point, and you can't discharge it into more sensitive streams maybe. But having said that, I think urine separation could be a perfect solution for expanding cities in the new areas, because then you can relieve the wastewater treatment plant and it's receiving water from more nitrogen and phosphorus to if you take care of the toilet waste separately by vacuum systems.
Thank you both for those comments. And that makes me also think of this new urban wastewater directive that is still in the proposal form. And it's going to have quite a big impact on centralized wastewater treatment plants, and also potentially on rural areas where right now we have a lot of on-site systems, but it could actually potentially impact what we're allowed to have as on-site systems. Do you have any opinions on that, or have any vision of how that might impact our centralized systems versus moving to more decentralized systems?
Yes, there is. I would like to say you can with the new requirements on individual wastewater treatment plants, the individual plants inside a city. It will. What is happening is that you have to have the same requirements on them as on the central wastewater treatment plant. And I think that is good, because the smaller, if you have individual plants with very bad treatment of nitrogen and phosphorus, then you could really have bad consequences for the local urban environment. But again, if you could solve these, instead of having treatment, you had urine separation for these areas, you can solve the problem in another way. If you could, so I think it's, I don't see the new Urban Wastewater Treatment Directive as a main driver for even more centralized plants. You can also look at from the climate adaptation part of view, and that you have to have less combined sewer overflows or storm overflows, that is it's called in the directive. That may, you also have to divide your areas in other ways. So it's depending on how you solve the requirements. There's I don't see any perspective of automatically centralizing in the new directive.
Thank you. Are there any other comments from the panel? No? Then we will open to the floor here. Are there any questions in the audience?
Yeah, hello, Björn Winnerås from SLU here. I have a question regarding what we discussed quite a lot, sort of trying to work with urine and recycling urine, and discuss quite a lot of business models, and focusing sort of urine and the value as a resource is 1/10 compared to the value as a pollutant, or the cost as a pollutant. Do you see any sort of view in the future that actually avoided pollution can be of value? Because today it's not really accounted as a value.
Yes, I think it should be when a wastewater company is calculating for an expansion of a city and looks into and looks into the cost of treating this nitrogen and comparing for maybe the extra cost for having a system where you have when you can sort out the toilet wastewater that should be in your calculations, and especially if you have a receiving water where you have to have less phosphorus and nitrogen into it, even though you have an expanding city. To sort out the toilet waste could be one part of the solution. We could also see the same discussion regarding drinking water. If you have a city which and you have industries that needs a lot of drinking water for instance, for cooling water, but you have almost reached the production capacity of the drinking water plant, then it should be calculated. Maybe it's lower cost for the wastewater company if you could produce cooling water from the treated wastewater for this industry than to expand the drinking water plant to produce drinking water as cooling water. So this is very regional, local based, the calculations, but Björn, I think it's really important to bring this into the value of to look into the value of recycled resources in a broader way.
Are there any other questions from the audience or online? No. If not, I have a question for Johan. In putting in the public toilets in Visby, do you think there's flexibility to actually change the service chain a little bit so that we could have nutrient recycling, or what are the factors that make you choose what type of toilet to put in, whether it's flush or dry, and do you have any comments around that?
Yeah, I think a lot of the toilets are quite old, and the problem with those are that they are in even older buildings. A lot of the buildings there are from the 1700s. So space is a problem for the old ones, but of course, if we build new toilets, then of course that's something that we have in like what we are going to look into to get them as good as possible. So I think in Visby, maybe the space is the problem for some. For some, it's no problem, and then we have still like quite a lot of toilets like outside the city, where it shouldn't be any problems to make it possible to do the urine separation. But with the new toilets should be no problems. But then of course it's how it's going to be implemented is different from, I think, maybe not all toilets, but if we're going to do it, we're going to need to have a few different possibilities.
Okay, thank you. Anders, do you have another comment?
Yes, thank you. That's a new hand. And I would just like to go back to the importance of, in the Urban Wastewater Treatment Directive, in the recasted one, that you may remember that I showed 2 slides on Article 20 regarding sludge. And it's so important to both keep nitrogen in this Article 20.2. Otherwise, we will now have driving force on nitrogen and on especially on urine separation. That is really one of the main drivers, I think, to that and organic farming to have urine and toilet separation, to keep nitrogen in, and also to have looking into how the fertilizer product regulation could be improved in the future to bring in recovered phosphorus and nitrogen. If we have these instruments in place and produce the type of of fertilizer, which the mineral fertilizer company and the organic fertilizer company would like to have, then we could really close the loop, I think. But we are in a crucial moment now to keep nitrogen in the urban wastewater treatment directive.
Thank you. And yes, I think that's quite crucial with the focusing on the nitrogen. We've figured out, as you said, how to recycle or get out the phosphorus, but it's still quite a challenge with the nitrogen, and by tackling urine, we can address that. We have time for one more question. Yeah.
Jennifer McConville from SLU. I have a question actually for Embla. Is coming from the construction company, that I'd like to hear a little bit of what your incentives are as construction companies to start building these types of systems with urine diversion. And also, if I know that you're interested in it, but the rest of the construction industry, do you feel that they're also following your lead?
I'm laughing a little bit. No, I don't think that water has been in most construction firms' minds lately. I think maybe we're quite unique about this focus right now. What I have been looking at with my colleagues. But I was thinking about what Brian was said before, because every new treatment plant we have to do, or every new freshwater pipe we have to put down in the soil, is a climate impact. So everything we do that can make an impact on not building more for that to make all our buildings more self-sufficient can reduce the climate impact on the society. So I think everything has a climate impact from that. I hope that more of my colleagues will address this, so that we can make our properties more water. I would come from the words in English, but if we build all of the new buildings in this municipality where we have this idea, then we don't have to expand the municipality treatment plant, and we can build more and not be a burden for the factor. So I hope that me being here today and seeing a new aspect of how you can construct buildings to address the possibility for make a fertilization project from our office building and use the waste from our buildings can be an inspiration for other construction firms. I hope that was an answer on your question.
Thank you so much, Embla, and to Johan and to Anders for participating and answering some tough questions. Please stay on. We are going to now move on to the next pilot, and it would be lovely for you to also participate in that discussion as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I've been told there are some problems with the sound here in the room. I hope you can hear the stakeholders participating properly. They can, I know they are having a good quality, but here in the room it might be a bit noisy in the background, but I think we still can manage. So thank you again for the Swedish stakeholders. Now I would like to give the word to Karsten and introduce a stakeholder in Germany. So we have another approximate 20 minutes, more or less, for the German pilots. And I invite all of you also to participate and ask your questions afterwards. So please, Karsten.
Yeah, thank you so much, and also thanks a lot to the Swedish stakeholders for starting such a interesting discussion. From Germany, we have one stakeholder. I'm very glad that Dr. Christiane Groß is here with us from today. And before I hand over to her, I would like to introduce a bit her work and also our relation locally in Hanover. So Dr. Christiane Groß is leading the department of the monitoring of the drainage and discharge from properties. And Stadtentwässerung Hannover, the municipal wastewater utility in Hanover, is managing 750,000 person equivalents in 2 wastewater treatment plants, which are discharging to the local rivers, which are eventually discharging to the Northern Sea. The utility is financed by tariffs, as Anders showed for the Sweden case. And it's historically quite innovative. I would say in the 90s it was a front runner for decentral stormwater management globally. And it's quite advanced in energy reclamation, like 70% of the energy demand is actually generated on site via using the sludge via biogas processes. They are also tapping now into the production of hydrogen, producing this energy source to fuel their logistics, and as a byproduct using the produced oxygen for the aeration of the secondary biological treatment, which is one of the most energy consuming parts of the value chain in this linear system. They're also looking into a fourth treatment step because the discussion on pharmaceuticals contained in wastewater is quite large in Germany, but hotly ongoing, I would say. Yeah, we got together during the development of the eco-village, which is by nature a very ambitious project in terms of environmental footprint. So it was looking into wastewater and also rainwater concept that can be very little harmful. And the Stadtentwässerung was very cooperative. We were looking into existing concepts such as the Hamburg water cycle. We went there together, and we're looking together with Hamburg Water also if this concept could be a good fit to the eco-village. It turned out it's not ideal, so eco-village developed its own concept, including this yellow water source separation, but also grey water source separation and recycling of treated grey water for the flushing toilets. So actually in the toilets there's no drinking water needed. So we have a couple of issues where we require a permit from the Stadtentwässerung. They're also in charge of handing out the permits for the municipality. This is still ongoing for the district-wide network. So we will be in close touch in the future, Mrs. Groß and the planning of the water systems for Eco-Village. But there was already a permit for the first demonstration building that has been constructed already, that was designed as a zero-emission building. So it was quite challenging also in terms of permit. And Mrs. Groß was very cooperative there and offered also support with the monitoring. Yeah, I think that was enough from my side. So I would like to hand over to Dr. Christiane Groß to present her stake on the project and the overall aim of P2GreeN.
Yes. Good morning to everybody. Thank you, Carsten, for this nice introduction. We are interested in water reuse and recycling projects for urine and feces for the following reasons. Groundwater in northern Germany is polluted with nitrates due to inputs from agriculture. The drought summers of recent years have led to a drop in groundwater levels with negative consequences for drinking water production areas. In these areas, there are calls for less water to be extracted, or at least for wastewater from sewage plants to be treated so that it can be infiltrated again. Due to legal regulations, sewage sludge must now be incinerated. Previously, it was spread in agriculture. The load of polymers on the soil for dewatering the sewage sludge and the load of trace substances should thus be reduced. If overall less water is discharged to the sewer system, this can mitigate heavy rain events in the mixed-use area. We have therefore received a mandate from the local authority to pursue active water management. Beside the dealing with stormwater, following projects have arisen to this context are the further treatment of wastewater from secondary treatment in order to reuse it for the irrigation of green areas, support for projects such as EcoVillage to find new ways of disposing of wastewater. However, the regularium developed in Germany for environmental protection reasons for the handling of human excreta provides a very narrow framework. Wastewater must be handed over to us as a party responsible for wastewater disposal according to our wastewater statutes. We have the option to issuing a temporary exemption for research purposes. The discharge of excess water from greywater treatment plants directly into the watercourse via the storm sewer is therefore actually not legally possible and also meets with major reservations on the part of the water authority with regard to reliably consistent quality. Likewise, the remaining recycling materials from urine and feces could currently be unclear, as their use as fertilizer is not legally permissible. At the moment, compost from corresponding small wastewater treatment plants must also be offered to us in accordance with the legal regulations. The use of dry toilets without water flushing could be easier under these regulations because here, in the sense of the definition, water altered by use is called wastewater. In these cases, no wastewater is produced. We are currently taking this approach in allotment gardens because local conditions and legislation do not easily allow wastewater to be taken over there. For the use of human excreta as fertilizer, the EcoVillage project can be very helpful in preparing new decision paths, and we try to do this like to support through the monitoring of the plant and by temporary exemption from the connection and use obligation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Gross. You mentioned the narrow framework that we actually have in Germany, and during the process I had to realize that we are actually quite lucky in Hanover that it's not as narrow as in other municipalities, since we have like this, let's say, living lab paragraph in Hanover. To give you a bit of background, trickling down from the national framework, from the Water Household Act, the municipalities are obliged to connect households to the sewer system. Hanover included in their regulatory framework this living lab paragraph, which enabled EcoVillage to get an exemption from fully using the sewer system. And therefore we needed a research project basically. So P2GreeN enabled this, and obviously this can be a big barrier for other projects or regions to take up the approach. Mrs. Groß, do you agree that this, we call it Anschluss- und Benutzungszwang, so the connection and using obligation, do you think this is a barrier for the diversification of the sanitation system?
Yes, I think to be innovative, this will be a great barrier for treating the urine or feces in a new way. And at the time, I can't see that there will be the possibility to give exemption over an extended period because of the legal regulations.
Mm-hmm. So we have the scope of this project until 26 to demonstrate that we should go on in some way or another. Do you, Mrs. Groß, actually know? I only followed it up to the national level, but is this coming from an EU level also? This obligation?
I don't really know that. It is developed in Germany to prevent the environment because in earlier years, long ago, there was a lot of pollution. I think now we are at the point to go new ways, but I don't really know if this will be continued in the future, or if there will be the time to find new regulations.
But if it's a national law, we have a little stake on it locally, and we have to push to the national level to have a change there and get over this barrier, I suppose. Ms. Groß, I have one more question regarding yellow water. You mentioned that actually dry toilets, you see more potential within the legal framework currently, since it's not falling under the definition of wastewater. So in the case of the yellow water waste stream at EcoVillage, we flush it with water so it becomes wastewater. Do you think the product there, the urine that is produced locally, can then be declared a sludge that could be used on the fields? You mentioned that this is not allowed anymore in the future in Germany. This is true for larger wastewater treatment plants, but for smaller ones, there's still the possibility to use it on agricultural land. Of course, this is maybe a question for a lawyer or so, but what is your thought on this?
I believe that it should be possible to fertilize with these products. It is in other countries like Liechtenstein, Austria, it is allowed, but in Germany it is generally excluded. I think there must be something that will be go in other ways in the future, and it is dependent on the meaning of the lawyers.
Yeah. So I might open up for questions from the audience. Maybe one of you has more knowledge on what we have been discussing about the connection and usage obligation, if this is actually coming from the EU level, or what's the situation there. That would be my question towards the audience. Of course, you can place your original questions as well. Are there any?
Good morning, Mrs. Groß. My name is Anita from the Agrarteer coordination team of this project, also based in Germany, in the eastern part of Germany, Brandenburg. My question would be, as you are, as I understood, very innovative compared to other wastewater treatment organizations, do you have a regular exchange with your colleagues from other regions or other cities, and how do you derive to your new innovative concepts and thinking? Where do you get these input from?
Yes, I think there are several sources for these inputs. We have a new team, and we are in good connection with other cities, and therefore we can grab their ideas and try to see what ideas can we use here in Hanover. But I think a lot of work is done not at the time. There are much things we have to do in the future, and EcoVillage will one part of these. The same is true for the tertiary treatment we are planning for, and we have a lot of ideas for the dealing with stormwater, and there are some some will be put in reality.
Thank you, Ms. Groß. I would like to add to this. So you mentioned that the challenges are really huge in Germany in multiple areas, which is mainly stormwater management and the further treatment, the advanced treatment of treatment plant effluent. The nutrient reclamation, Germany has now taken the path of incinerating the sludge to recover phosphorus from the ashes. In Hanover, that's also the path taken. Do you have the feeling that this topic is on top of the discussion when it comes to nutrient reclamation, or is there an openness in Germany to follow other paths and look into other innovations also?
Yes, I believe that there is the potential for further innovations, but Germany is a big ship, and it's very difficult to go on new ways. It's not that easy. But I think there are also many young people who are interested to change things and not to think they have to stay as they are.
Thank you. We have time for one more question towards Ms. Groß. Yeah, Anna Kletto.
Thank you. Just to Karsten and Christian, to understand properly the permit part. So you have to connect to the sewer, and you are avoiding to be connected to the sewer by Living Lab, as I understood, right? For this temporary period. But if you connect just as a sort of overflow, but you never discharge, it's becoming not an infrastructural problem, it's just that you are paying part of the water tariff without using the service. This is the point, right? Because an overflow pipe you can always connect and say that you have connected to the sewer, but you are not discharging the urine because you segregate it, you are discharging less water because you don't discharge rainwater or you're reusing the grey water. So it becoming a matter of water tariff, or I missed something?
I think it's not that easy. I believe that the obligation to use the sewer will be definitely that you have to give us your complete wastewater and not to derive it to other ways.
Yeah, that's because we don't only have the obligation to get connected, but also to use it. That was the starting point for the eco-village water concept. So it's actually used. The wastewater with less value is still discharged within this concept, but we can go into detail maybe later on, because I have one more question from Anders, and we're 1 minute behind, but I would still like to give him that opportunity. And Theodora also. We take that 2 questions quickly. Thank you.
Theodora, would you like to go first?
It's more a technical, it's not a legal. I'm following the discussion with interest, and I was just wondering, because what I have been hearing from the technical studies and all the assessment is that human excreta are difficult in recovering of nutrients because of the presence of pharmaceuticals. And I was wondering, in all these technologies that you are using, how you deal with drugs or with pharmaceuticals, which, in my understanding, are pretty persistent. And this is why all the conclusions from the technical studies that we had so far is that it's not safe enough to use these recovered nutrients as input for the fertilizing products, because you just spread out antibiotics, pharmaceuticals in general, and you have no ruling.
So thank you for that question, Theodora. I will quickly answer to that. We are planning to apply the WUNA Nexus process in Hanover, and this is including as a third step activated carbon filtration that is getting rid of more than 90% of the pharmaceuticals. And the big advantage of it is that we take only 1% of the wastewater volume, which is urine, but contains 70 to 80% of the nitrogen and phosphorus contained in wastewater. We take that little volume and use the same approach basically that is taken for the advanced treatment in wastewater treatment plants, to use activated carbon to get rid of these pharmaceuticals. So we not only treat it to a better available nutrient solution, we also clean it with this treatment step. So Anders.
Yes, thank you very much. And I had just some, not a question, but some reflections regarding the discussion on European legislation. And let's see if I could try to guide you a little bit there. As I told you, the sludge evaluation report was published by the European Commission in May, a few months ago. And it is not closing any doors. We need much more requirements for the sludge used in agriculture, but that could still be possible also for landscaping. And also we have the route of incineration and the, let's use the waste hierarchy in a wise way here. So we could recycle as many resources as possible. And my advice would be for the recasted sludge directive. Let's see if we will have a decision from the Commission the coming year, and also the new Commission after the elections in the European Parliament in June. That would be to, in the definitions, also not only having sludge, but also sorted streams, excreta, like urine or toilet or black water, into the definition. So it would be clear that this is the same regulation for all these different kinds of resources. So it's in place. So that's one thing. And then regarding the decentralized treatment plants, I'm really happy with decentralized stormwater treatment because you have to do it upstream for the to be able to be more resilient for the climate change, which has already started. And then to the supra decentralized, that individual appropriate treatment plants that is in the new recasted urban wastewater treatment directive. And so if you have an agglomeration, a city with more than 2% of these, you have to map them and show that you have at least the same treatment as if it was treated in the centralized wastewater treatment plant. I think that is very important for the local city's water conditions. But then there should be possibilities, and there's nothing in the directive that you can use separation for that. And I think if I compare what happened with the black water and toilet separated systems in the mid-90s and now, that in the eco-villages in the mid-90s, it was very much of private initiatives and not always backed by the municipal wastewater companies, which they should have done, I think, at that time. But now the initiatives running now are by the municipal wastewater companies, so it's much more professional and standardized. And and it will also survive when the enthusiasts in the eco-villages maybe move or come into another family situation. So I think what has been done in Helsingborg with these 1,000 apartments and 500 more to come, I think, with a vacuum sorting system and a decentralized plant, that's the way to do. And then let the grey water be used either internally in some ways in the buildings, but let the grey water, the rest of it, go to a decentralized plant and decentralize the stormwater treatment. So, and this is, I think we shouldn't have a black and white discussion on decentralized or centralized. It's depending on the water and the local situation, I think. Thank you.
Thank you, Anders. I'll take that as final words of our slot. I'm very delighted, Ms. Groß, that you contributed to our cross-fertilization workshop today. Please stay online for further discussions if you can. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. We are slowly moving to the end of the workshop, but before we have our last block of interventions with the stakeholders from the Spanish region. And today with us we have two different representatives that were really interested in joining us in the discussion. And I would like to first introduce to Ms. Leonor Camacho, that is here with us. She's the responsible of the environmental area within TRADE, that is the business agency for transformation and economic development of Junta de Andalucía, which is the regional government. Leonor, are you here with us? I would like you to give you the floor.
Yes.
Hello, buenos días.
Hola, buenos días. I'm going to share my screen, okay?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
You can see, Gerardo? No.
Not yet.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We see your webcam, but not the presentation.
Okay. Now?
Yeah. Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. So my name is Leonor from Andalucía TRADE. Thank you. First, thank you for your invitation, Gerardo Bioazul. I'm going to talk about Andalucía Trade, my organization, and our activities related to P2GreeN project. Andalucía Trade is a public company from the regional government of Andalucía. Is an instrumental entity which centralizes in Andalucía the implementation of all the activities and the provision of support services to companies in the fields of investment promotion, internationalization, innovation, the promotion of research, development and innovation, and the knowledge transfer. The main aim of TRADE is to improve the economic growth in Andalucía. I'm going to present the platform Plan Sequía Andalucía. Due to the drought situation that Andalucía was facing late 2022, the regional government launched this platform to deal with the situation. Plan Sequía Andalucía, the platform, is a collaborative project to identify solutions to solve the public administration needs as consequence of the current situation of drought in our region. The platform collects innovative solutions to give answer to the different challenges identified by the different regional governments involved, affected by the situation. As you can see in the screen, the platform is structured in the 4 sections or models. One is the registration of where collect the company information and the solutions. 2 is the catalog of innovative solutions. Is a summary of the solutions appears in the catalog. 3 is the general information, and 4, the challenges, the different identified needs. In this slide, you can see the structure of the steps of the platform. So regional government requests the creation of the platform and creates the follow-up commission of drought in Andalucía, integrated for 6 regional ministries of our region. The follow-up commissions detects the challenges, and Andalucía Trade publishes these needs. Trade collects and validates the solutions via the platform. Each entity registers itself and its solutions. And the final step is the matching. In Andalucía Trade, we are intermediaries between needs and offers, and the results are this matching will be projects, public procurement of innovation projects, collaboration, public fundings. Now, actually, the Andalusian government is preparing a public funding to address and implement the needs of the platform. And now you can see in this slide the numbers of the platform. In the platform, we can find now 105 solutions of 24 entities of different types, research centers, research groups, companies, others, and in the different categories classified by the different themes of the needs. The solutions. We have identified some of the solutions related to themes addressed by the P2GreeN project, wastewater. So you can see one of them, use of wastewater with technologies based on microalgae, technologies for the purification and regeneration of wastewater, water treatment and reuse for irrigation, oxidation technologies for the elimination of contaminants in the treatment and regeneration of wastewater. But there are as you know, 105 solutions in the platform related to water that could be answered to different needs and challenges, not only at regional level, but also at international. So if you have identified needs you want addressed, please let us know. The way we usually work at international level is by Enterprise Europe Network. I'm going to present this network. EN helps business innovative and grow on international scale. It is the world's largest support network for small and medium-sized enterprises with international ambitions. Is present in all the countries you can see, and the network member organization group in regional consortia are selected through calls for proposals. In Andalusia, the consortia is called CESEAM, and the service are related to innovation, sustainability, resilience, business partnering, digitalization, and internationalization. So thank you very much, and my contact.
Thank you very much, Leonor. Very interesting presentation. We will wait a bit until we start the discussion, because before I would like also to introduce our second stakeholder joining from Spain. She is Ms. Blanca Lucena. She's the International Projects Consultant at the Agency for Management of Agriculture and Fisheries of Andalusia, AGAPA, that falls under the Regional Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development. The Regional Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development of Andalusia has developed a bioeconomy strategy that was approved in 2018, and AGAPA has supported the development of this strategy, and Blanca more specifically has been involved as well. She has been also participating in submission of many European proposals related to bioeconomy, and yeah, by the above, by the mentioned regional ministry. And now she will be also presenting and talking about one of these European projects where AGAPA has been involved and is currently participating. I think we have a pre-recorded video, and then we will jump into the Q&A session.
Good morning. My name is Blanca Lucena. I come from Andalusia and I work in AGAPA, the Agency for the Management of Agriculture and Fisheries of Andalusia that falls under the Regional Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development. First of all, I want to thank the organizers of this event for giving me the opportunity to participate in this session. The title of my presentation is Humus Project, Involvement of Municipalities and Regions in Soil Health Care. Before deepening in the Humus Project, I would like to say that the Regional Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development of Andalusia developed a bioeconomy strategy that was approved in 2018. AGAPA, and me in particular, has supported to some extent that strategy. But, however, my intervention in this workshop is related to Humus Project, which is a project of the soil mission of the Horizon Europe program. AGAPA is a partner of this project, and in particular, I would like to talk about participatory methodologies and governance at regional and local level to implement solutions for soil health care. The content of my intervention is the following. First of all, I will briefly present the Humus project. In second place, I will go in depth with two work packages, namely the work package 2, which is called Development of Regional and Local Thematic Innovation Ecosystems for Soil Healthcare, and the work package 4, which is a public call with financial support to develop 20 additional pilot projects on participatory governance on this subject of soil health. The Humus project began in January 2023 and will end in December of 2025. It aims to soil mission specific objectives, which are improve soil literacy in society and facilitate the deployment of the soil mission at regional and local levels. Also, it aims at two operational objectives, which are important for us, mainly co-create and upscale place-based innovation to improve soil health care in all places, and engage with the soil user community and society at large. This picture shows the partnership we include countries and organizations along all Europe. And here we can see the methodology with emphasizes the participatory approach and the governance issues. The work package 1 is will develop a series of tools to support the dialogue to be held in the work package 2, which is called Regional Thematic Innovation System, and will I go in deep later. The work package 3 is about networking at local, regional, and international level. The work package 4 is a public call to add some more dialogues, as we will see later, and and work package 5 and work package 6 are coordination and communication. The soil mission has a lot of initiatives and projects to support their implementation. But so Humus is not the only project, but it is the only one aimed at regional and public administrations. We are the only ones in this crowded cluster that is targeting at public administration at local and regional levels. Well, the work package 2, which is led by AGAPA, the main objective is the establishment of constructive dialogues in the selected regions among public authority representatives, citizens, businesses, associations, and other quadruple helix stakeholders to understand the problem of their soils and find solutions together. 13 pilot cases have been selected along all Europe, attending to the land use, the soil mission specific objective, the good participatory practice that was going on or to be implemented, and also each case study has a space for the dialogue and a replication territory. The methodology to be, or the task to be done are the following. First of all, a work template for multi-actor dialogues and preparatory activities will be done based on a pre-diagnosis, a sociogram or map of actors or stakeholders, and a participative diagnosis. Based on this diagnosis, territorial management agreement will have to be agreed in each one of these territories, and later there will be in each one a phase or transfer and replication. A very important deliverable of this project is a catalog of best practice and public policies to improve soil health that will result from the 13 pilot cases of the Work Package 2, but also from other 20 pilot cases that will be selected with the public call that I will describe now. So the catalog aims to gather and systematize experiences and lessons learned of regional and local authorities to improve soil health, increase citizen engagement, and promote a better use of European Union financial instruments to support the implementation of solutions. The objective of the public call in this context is to measure or at least document the positive impact of participatory governance on soil quality in the chosen territory. The call that is the object of the Work Package 4, as I said before, will support 20 pilot projects of participatory governance of soil issues at local and regional level, each one funded with 30,000 euros. The objective, as I said, will be to support other entities to make dialogue and engage citizens and design policies throughout Europe. It will be published now at the end of 2023. She will be at work about March, May of 2024, and will be developed along the 3 years of project, well, the 2 years that rest now of the project development. The criteria are not definitely established. We are doing it now, but very soon, as I said, it will be published. So the project finally will develop all these schemes. By the end of 2023, we will have a methodology, contents, and tools for local stakeholder engagement in shared land management plan, strategies, and activities. By the end of 2023, the call will be published to select the 20 new local communities to be financed by the open call. At the end of 2024, we will have also the 13 pilot cases developed, and by the end of 2024, we will count on 33 European Union territories delivering and implementing their own plans. So thank you very much, and I am at your disposal for any question or doubt you want to share. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Blanca, also for your presentation. I think we are on time, so I would like to kick off the discussion, perhaps asking Leonor about the platform. And you have presented a great variety of solutions for water scarcity. And my question is, do you think solutions like the ones presented today for recycling of nutrients could be also somehow be part of this platform? Should we expand also the needs, not just water scarcity, but also the recovery of nutrients, so that we could also try to promote the P2GreeN solutions in the platform? That would be my questions to you. What are your thoughts? Thank you.
Thank you, Gerardo. Yes, in the platform you can register other solutions, but you can contact us, but the new needs you are said. Now, or in the beginning of the platform, the needs are or the follow commission or drought for the situation or in that moment, but now we can collect all the needs or they interested is by waterways or nutrients or in general water. Okay.
Okay, thank you. And do you think that could be replicated perhaps in other regions, a similar platform like Germany or Sweden or even the follower regions participating in P2GreeN from Hungary, Greece, France, Italy? Are you aware of a similar platform in these countries?
I don't know if there is in these countries this platform, but is replicate. Yes, of course, and we are in contact with all the partners of the project if they want to know this platform or how or which is the methodology or all you need. You can contact with Andalucía Trade and me. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I think we will be in touch with you during the project, myself of the other partners. So before giving the floor to the participants here, I would like to ask Blanca as well about the concept of humus project. You said that municipalities will be involved, citizens as well. Which type of activities are you planning to get their opinion, to interact with them?
Well, in this year, the year that is going to begin in 2024, we have planned to develop the 13 territorial dialogues in the 13 regions. In particular, here in Andalusia, we have selected 2 regions in Granada and Almería, and the methodology is to meet people, to meet the main actors in each, the main stakeholder in each one of these municipal or formed by 2 or 3 municipal territories to agree about the soil problems of this territory and also about the solutions, exploring political instruments or good agronomic practices and things like that. And also we have launched LinkedIn communities so that people can participate and also experts from university and, well, all people who can support the process of design new solutions that can be uptake and adopted by the territories, not change the law in a very high level, but with a bottom-up approach, exploring what we have. And also, in parallel, we will have the public call that you can all apply if you want, through all Europe, to select another 20 more cases in the same way, with the same objective. Mainly they are directly to public administration, municipal, but also another related stakeholder can participate.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we will be taking a very close look to humus and the activities that you will be performing. Also, I think this is a great opportunity to create this synergy with this other project, and we will be also happy to keep in touch and collaborate in the future. So I would like now to ask if there is anybody here in the room that would like to ask something to any of our stakeholders from Spain. Yeah, okay.
Hi. Well, this is a question for Leonor. about the Plan Sequia platform. So if one solution is achieving the objectives, but at a laboratory scale where the regulation can be more flexible, for example, regulation about wastewater reuse, can this platform help to facilitate the transfer of the solution to, let's say, the real conditions, to the real world?
Okay, we are in Andalucía Trade. We are the intermediaries of the offer and the solutions. So, in this case, the different now these different needs are of the different regional governments of Andalusia. So, in this, if in the next time. We will collect other needs of other regions, of other governments, of other entities. We connect the offer with the need. It is the real contact. We are not part of the collaboration or the project, no, only intermediaries. Okay?
I think so. I think he's satisfied with the answer. Any other question from the attendees here? No? Okay. Then if not, I think it's time to conclude the workshop. We are a few minutes late, but I think it's okay. Thank you to all the participants that joined here today in Malaga, also those joining online. I hope you found it insightful and gave you some food for thought for the future. Also, thank you to Cocom Company for making the hybrid event possible, and also to my colleagues from Vallasul, David and Angela, because this requires a lot of arrangements, and they did great. So just to let you know, the presentations and the main points that were discussed here today will be part of one of the deliverables, deliverable 1.5 about the cross-fertilisation, together with the outputs from the next two workshops. But anyway, we will summarize the main conclusions and messages shared with all of you today, and we will send it to you by email. Also, for those here, just to remind you that we have a coffee break now, approximately 30 minutes, and then we will continue with the next workshop about exploitation. So thank you also to all of you joining online. Thank you again. We will stay in touch. Thank you for your interest in participating in the workshop. And yeah, thank you again, and I hope we will stay in touch. Have a good day, all of you.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
And I think the coffee is outside the room, in the patio. Okay.